So hey guys, welcome to another Warframe video, and today I want to show you an interesting setup for the Ohma, which is a new tonfa that's been added with the latest update. The Ohma is simply an amazing weapon. It does 100 raw electricity damage, so it's amazing for building different elemental combos. It also has the highest slide attack damage of all the melee weapons, so it's great with the maiming strike build, and it has good crit and status, so it can be built in many different ways. It's also pretty easy to get. You simply buy the blueprint from the market, which costs 55,000 credits, and then to build it you will have to put in additional 20,000 credits, 4 nitane, 15,000 ferrite, 1,400 plastids, and 2 argon crystals. Now, even though I've already put 2 Forma onto the Ohma, the first Forma, which was a V where Blood Rush is not necessary at all. I was simply playing around with a different build. And the second Forma is in the stance slot because I prefer Gemini Cross over Sovereign Outcast. So if you either prefer Sovereign Outcast over Gemini Cross or you don't mind, this is a 0 Forma build. The mods I'm using are Prime Pressure Point for damage, Blood Rush, which is going to give me more and more critical chance as I build up my combo counter, and I'm also using True Steel, which takes the critical chance from 15 base to 24, and this helps a lot because it means I get to red crits much faster. To increase my combo timer duration, I am using Drifting Contact, which also adds 40% bonus status chance, and I'm combining that with Weeping Wounds, which is kind of like Blood Rush but for status, so it's gonna give me more and more status as I build up my combo counter. For attack speed, I chose Berserker because after I build my combo counter a little bit, I'm gonna start critting on every strike, so Berserker is a great option here. And finally, I'm using Fever Strike and Volcanic Edge for gas damage, and this gives me a combination of electricity and gas. Now, just like that, this setup is pretty awesome because after a while you build up your combo counter and you're gonna start doing red crit gas procs, which absolutely demolish the infested. The same goes for Corpus. The electricity procs, on top of giving you a nice bit of crowd control, will also do increased damage to machinery like Moas and Bursas, and the toxin dot you get from the gas procs is absolutely devastating versus the fleshier units because it will bypass their shields. The problem comes with the Grenier because gas and electricity is not great versus armor. It's not the worst thing in the world. You will eventually kill the armored units, but it will take you a while. However, if we add invisibility to this setup, whether it is in the form of Loki's invisibility, Ivara's Prowl, Ash's Smoke Bomb, or even Naramon's Shadow Step, this happens. The toxin dot you get from gas procs becomes extremely devastating if you are cloaked and the enemies don't know where you are, because it will start doing finisher damage and it will bypass armor. Earlier today I did a 3.5 hour stream where I did a 1 hour run on Selkie on Sedna, but also a 2 hour survival run on Mott in the Void. Now, unfortunately, thanks to the chain lightning effect that you get with the weapon when you hit an enemy or when you damage them with a status proc, I can't really use the stream footage because as soon as I started attacking and the little lightning effect started going off, the quality of the video just disintegrated and it turned into like a bunch of artifacted squares. But right before I was about to hit the 2 hour mark in Mott, the enemies were around level 350, with the Eximus units being close to 370. And it only sort of started to slow down once the enemies hit level 330, where sometimes an Eximus unit would survive for like 2 to 5 seconds. And pretty much anything below level 330 would just get hit by a toxin proc and die. Oh yeah, and please bear in mind that the footage you have just watched from the simulacrum shows the weapon doing sort of mediocre damage. It goes way high up once you stack up your combo counter, which will increase the raw damage you do, the crit chance, so you will start doing red crits, and also your status chance. Now, originally I had no idea that it was actually the toxin damage doing all the work. I thought it was the chain lightning effect that comes from the weapon. I thought it was simply broken and did way too much damage if used from stealth. But after some additional testing, I've realized that the chain lightning doesn't actually do any damage, it's just a visual effect. The power of the weapon comes from its own stats. Since it's only doing electricity damage, you can either proc electricity, which will spread to enemies and stun them, or gas, which will affect everything in a decently sized radius with toxin damage. And when you combine that with an awesome status chance, decently high crit chance, and a standard multiplier, this weapon becomes a monster if used from stealth. And don't get me wrong, the weapon is still awesome outside of stealth, but the addition of stealth, whether it is once again from Loki, Ivara, Ash, or Naramon, makes it so much more devastating. So I would definitely recommend you try this setup out. It is a ton of fun. And that's pretty much it for the video, so I thank you very much for watching as always, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.